Hi, everybody. Father Bill Holtzinger here, and this is your Friday reflection, or Thursday reflection, or Saturday reflection. I guess it depends on when you're watching this. Anyhow, I want to share with you two things. The first thing would be about the scriptures, and this weekend I'll be preaching. I want to kind of share something about what I'm thinking about, so you can kind of get the engines going thinking about it. And also I want to talk to you about Walker Road. All right, let's start with the scriptures. Today, if you're watching this on Sunday or Saturday night, this weekend, is the parable of the dishonest steward. So what's going on? This person that's a dishonest steward is employed by a landowner, a master. And the master recognizes that this guy has been squandering his property. So he's going to fire him. Now, note this. Actually, he should be put in jail for squandering the property, because that is a crime. But instead, the master is merciful in just letting him go. But not everybody knows this. So the steward goes out and goes to them and reduces, in some cases, incredibly significantly amounts of money or debt to the master. Of course, they think great of this. They don't know anything about the fact that he's been unemployed. And when the master hears about this, he's kind of in a quandary. Well, should I go ahead and reverse this discount and then be looked like a horrible person to these landowners, these land users? Or should I just go with it and I'll be then seemed as a good guy? So of course, he's prudent, and he even says that the steward is acting prudently. So it's kind of a win-win because of the mechanisms of the steward, doing what he's done. And it's dishonest, of course. He doesn't have permission, and it's actually illegal. He doesn't have the right to even do this, but so be it. And that's how, of course, the landowner ultimately kind of decides, I would assume, by the way the text is written. So both are winners. Of course, they're serving money and reputation. And is that what we're supposed to be doing ourselves? So we're told we can either serve God or mammon. Mammon is all these things that we trust in, things that like money that gives us trust. But we're called to actually be trusting God. So it's clear actually which one we should be doing. But if we try to do both, it's a dead end. Think about this. We are then called to use the goods of this world, and that could be money, it could be property, it could be your talents, it could be your faith, to use those things for the good of other people. In other words, use things to win people. Not to win things and use people, or use people to win things. That's backwards. That's totally opposite than we're called to do. In the time of Jesus, the pagans would believe that if we are good with the gods, if we placate them, that we will have a good life. We will have money. We'll have riches, etc. Sounds kind of like the prosperity gospel we sometimes hear from some other preachers. The church is the other way around, really. It's about taking those goods that we have and giving them away. And it's a prudent thing to do, because then we're investing in our own salvation, but investing in the salvation of others. Our own, because then we're detached from these things, that they don't become gods for us. So there's no competition between us and our stuff and our money with God. And if there is, that's a problem, because then we have two competing interests and we can't serve them both. It's one or the other. The encouragement, of course, is to serve God. That means then go ahead, look at the things that you have. Ask yourself, as I ask myself, things that I have, do I use for the good of the gospel, for the good of people and their salvation? Because that's the end that we're trying to get to. And it's the good for those people. They're not a means to another end. Like, we're trying to be friends with them so that we can get kickbacks, right? By the very giving, without any expectation, just because it's good, we invest in them, and they will see us as people that are godly. And that's not so that we can get the reputation for ourselves, but that our reputation encourages them to be also good in their faith and in their knowledge of God. Okay, there's much more to be said. I'm going to leave it with that, because time's ticking along on this video as well. So I wanted to then share with you stuff about Walker Road. You might recall when, it was a year ago maybe, I mentioned that we were told by the county that Walker Road, the construction was going to begin on June 1st of this year. let's see here. It's now September. Let's see, that's June, July, August, halfway through September, almost 4 months. So what's going on? Well, we know that they've gotten funded and it's been, you could say, drawn out and architected and engineered. But they now need to find some contracting company to do the work. And so that's what the next step is. So they're going to go put out feelers for contractors to then bid on the actual site build. And how do we know this? Because Washington County did a kind of Q&A just yesterday. That would be Tuesday on this week, about any questions anybody has about the Walker Road expansion. So Dana Morano was there, Ben Church was there, people, some parishioners were there to find out what's going on. And this is kind of the bottom line. So the construction is not going to begin anytime soon. And in fact, this process is going to take so long that the build, they believe, well, they say, I don't know if I even trust this, they say will be the summer of 2027. That's right, folks. That's a good 2 years away. So there we go. Not to worry, we can still do what we need to do, but they know this, though. They're going to be probably doing work on a signal light at, Devonshire there, which is just 1 block up from, or 1 block distance from Murray Road, because they want to get that taken care of. But the construction and the widening of the road, otherwise that's going to hit us, will be pushed off until 2027. So that's great. That may not be great for people who need to use Devonshire, but maybe you can get around Devonshire, finding a way to get to the church. Like if you're needing to go through Parkway from Devonshire, maybe you want to think again. But as it gets closer, I'll let you know, and we'll put things in the bulletin. I'm going to write something about this also in the bulletin for next week, for those who don't do the social media gig that we're doing here. But I think it's good news. We're going to continue with the design committee, because we're looking at, trying to get a building, a single building that will be a parish center. It basically is going to be an expanded version of the fireside room for small and medium-sized meetings, and a few maybe larger ones. So that, the walls might be expandable and movable like we have now, but the building space will be much larger than the fireside room is today. And then connect that with the offices. If we can do that together, that would be great. And maybe it'll be a second story. We're not sure. We still have yet to architect that in a very basic way to kind of poke holes at that. And that's kind of the next step in what we're doing right now, is to look at what a building might look like. And we're looking towards the south part of the property, where, see, when you drive into Walker, the property off Walker Road there, you immediately see a parking lot right in front of you, right there. Well, that's the spot we're looking to put this building. That means we'll have to augment parking elsewhere to gain parking that will get lost by the building. But I think it'll be, and this is we're hoping, to be a net positive for parking, because there's parking allowed if we kind of redo this whole thing. That'll be in the front area, possibly around the sign and other places. We're hoping, not right now, we don't know exactly the details, but it would be nice if we don't have to take down the current building and use it, repurpose it for other things than offices. But we don't know exactly what will happen. So that's still lots of things up for grab. We haven't really gotten nailed down on things, but that's kind of the latest stuff with Walker Road, how it might relate to us. And if, again, those things change, and they can, I'll certainly let you know. And again, I'll write some of the stuff up, and if it's not the next bulletin cycle, it'll be the one after that. That's it, folks. My time is up. I hope you pray for me so I can give a homily and try to help you make some sense as I try to make sense of the difficult scripture we have this week and try to apply it for our lives. God bless you, and I'll see you this weekend. Bye-bye.